Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Jane here. On this video today, I'm going to be showing us how to sew a lovely pencil skirt with ruffles by the side. I have a video on how to draft a basic skirt pattern. If you're yet to see that, I will be leaving the link in the description box. If you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you as well. If this is something you're interested in, watch the video to the end. Please do not forget to give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, let's just get straight into the video. So right here, I'm going to start off with the back. You can see on the fabric, I have marked out 1 inch from my center back line. And for you to know the amount of fabric to put on fold, your hip circumference divided by 4 plus extra 3 or 4 inches, depending on the amount of ease you want on your skirt. So from the top, I'm going to mark out the top line, which is going to serve as the waistline. Okay, so just go ahead and mark out a line at the top of your fabric. This is going to serve as the waistline. So from this point, I'm going to take the length of my skirt. So the length of the skirt that I'm going to be working with is 28 inch. You can go long. This is going to be like a knee length, a midi length kind of skirt. It's not long and it's not short. So the length is 28 inch. I went on to mark out 28 inch on my fabric. I ensured to mark that across the fabric, and then I use my ruler to square it out. Okay, so after that is done, the next thing that I'm going to be doing is to go back to the waistline. After you've gotten the length of the skirt, you come back to your waistline. So like I said, I'm going to be drawing out the back first before moving on to the front. So from the center back line, which is going to serve as the zipper allowance line, I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch. This is so that we can contour the waist area. So after coming in by 1/2 inch, I'm going to take out a band of 1.5 inch for my skirts. From there, you can see the way I placed my tape on the top line. On my waistline, I placed my 1.5 inch marking on the waistline, and I went on to mark out my hip line. So from that point to my hip line is 9 inches. Okay, I marked that across the fabric, and then I used my ruler to square that out. After getting the hip line, the next thing was to mark out the knee line. So for the knee line of the skirt, I went on to use 18 inches for the knee line of the skirt. So what I did also was to place my tape from my waistline. Ensure that your tape is 1.5 inch placed on your waistline, and then go on to mark out your knee line. So after I've gotten this point now, I did the same thing. I used my straight ruler to mark that across the fabric. Okay, so after this is done, the next thing I'm going to do is to take the circumference measurement. So from the 1/2 inch marking that I came in on my waistline, I'm going to take 1/4 of my waist circumference. Note how I am placing my tape and where I am placing my tape. So from that point, I'm going to take my waist circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch for that, and extra 1 inch for stitching allowance on the waistline. Coming down to the hip, ensure that you place your tape exactly on your zipper line on the hip area. And then I'm going to take my hip circumference divided by 4, which is 41. And then I added extra 1 inch for seam allowance. 41 divided by 4 is 10.25. And then I added extra 1 inch allowance. Now coming to the hip line, into the knee line, from the zipper line I have at the back, I'm going to come in by 1 inch on the knee area of the back, just so that we have some form of contouring going on in that area. So I came in by 1 inch. So what I did was to take my ruler to connect that 1 inch that I came in by on my knee line to touch the hip area of the skirt. Okay, so I just used my ruler to connect those 2 points together. So from there, you can now extend the curve towards your waist area. So you can see what we have. This way, you've contoured the bum area and the knee area, and also the waist area of your back panel of the skirt. So now that is done, you go back to the knee area. Okay, ensure to smoothen out those lines. You don't want those parts being too pointy. Okay, so just ensure to smoothen out those lines. Now, okay, so coming back down to the knee area, I'm going to take whatever measurement you have on your hip, you're going to transfer it to your knee area, and then you're going to take away 1.5 inch. So remember, I had 10.25 inch on my hip area. I'm going to take away 1.5 inch and then add extra 1 inch for my seam allowance. At this point, I didn't add the 1 inch for the seam allowance, so I'm going to go back and add my 1 inch extra for the seam allowance on the knee area, and then I'm going to go ahead and reconnect it back. So let me explain this knee area again. Whatever measurement you have, value you have on the hip, you're going to take away 1.5 inch away from it, and then you're going to impute it on your knee area. Ensure that you are taking your measurements 1 inch away from your zipper line. Okay, the 1 inch we came in from the knee area is where you are going to be placing, where your measurements is going to start from. Now, because we took away 1 inch from the knee area, we would also need to take away 1 inch from the hem of the skirt. All right, so right now what I'm doing is to remeasuring the length of my skirt, just so that I am sure that it is exactly where I want it to be. So at this point, because I took out 1.5 inch band for the waist area, I'm going to go on to mark out my hemming allowance on the skirt. So I added extra 2 inch hemming allowance for the skirt, and that is what I have just marked now. Now for the center back, remember we took out 1 inch at the knee area. We are going to do the same thing also at the hem of the skirt. We are going to be taking away 1 inch from the center back line of the hem of the skirt, and we are going to reconnect it back to meet the knee area with a straight line. Just watch the video carefully, it's self-explanatory. From that point now, you're going to measure what you have on your knee area. So whatever the value is you have there, you're going to place that on the length of your skirt, ensuring that your tape is placed 1 inch away from the center back line. Okay, now when you've gotten this, now the next thing you're going to do is to bring down the line from the knee to touch the length of your skirt, and that is it basically for the back. So if you want a skirt that has a back contouring, this is what you should go for. So when you're done with this, now remember that I included my stitching allowance to the sides. So now we're going to go back to the zipper area. So for the zipper area, because we came in by 1/2 inch towards the waistline, we are going to now redraw the zipper area of the back. So from the waist, I'm going to go on to redraw the zipper area. I'm going to go ahead and add up my 1 inch at the waist, at the hip, at the knee area, and also at the hem of the skirt. So just go ahead and redraw your zipper allowance. Because of the contouring that was done, you need to redraw this. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm going on to redraw my zipper line just so that it follows the shape of the skirt at the back. So when you're done redrawing the zipper line for the back, you are going to have to start cutting out the fabric. So what I'm doing here now is I'm cutting out the sides of the back. I'm also cutting out the zipper area of the back. I added 1 inch, I added 1/2 inch at the waistline because we are going to be attaching a waistband to it. So I added 1/2 inch towards the waist area of the skirt. All right, so when you are done cutting out, this is what your skirt should look like. I'm just going to label this as the back, so when we are coming to join, we don't get confused, because it can be kind of confusing when you are trying to join the front and the back. So now moving on to the front, I have all of my horizontal lines already marked out on my fabric, and when you are cutting the front is going to be on fold. Okay, so towards the folded area, you're going to take your waist circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch for that, and 1 inch for your seam allowance. Same thing for your hip circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch for your seam allowance. Then you come down to your knee area. Your knee area is the measurement you have on your hip line minus 1.5 inch, and then you're going to add your seam allowance to it. Coming down to your length, to the length of the skirt, you're going to take what you have on your knee and you're going to place it on the length of the skirt. So when you've gotten all of those points, the next thing you want to do is to take your straight ruler, and you're going to be connecting from the hem to touch the knee. And from the knee, you're going to take your pant curve. You're going to take your curvy ruler, and you're going to be connecting from that point. If you don't have a curved ruler, you can go ahead and still use your straight ruler like I am doing. You can go ahead and do that. Then you're going to also connect to the waist. So when you are done with this, all you need to do is to just smoothen out those sharp corners you have by the side of the hip line. So you see those sharp edges we have towards the hip area and the knee area. We are going to go ahead and smoothen that out. When you're done smoothing it out, you can now go on to cut out the front panel. It's very easy and simple, and do not forget to add half an inch stitching allowance at the waistline of the front. It's also important because you would need to add a band as well. All right, so when we are done, this is what it looks like. I'm going to be attaching the lining to this, so we are going to do the same thing to the lining. So before we cut out, for the waistline of the front, I came down by 1 inch, just so that we can give the tummy room to sit comfortably in that area. Okay, so just come down by 1 inch from the center front of your panel, and then you're going to curve it into the seam line, the side seam of the pattern. Then you add your half an inch after coming down by 1 inch, and then you go ahead to cut it out. So that's what I've done here. After that, I'm going to go on to cut out the remaining parts of the skirt. So after we are done, this is what it looks like. This is what, after you're done cutting, I went on to label the front, because sometimes because of the board contouring we did for the back, it might kind of confuse you to think that that is the side of the skirt. So this is what it looks like for both front and back. And what I'm going to do now, for us to be able to join these two pieces, I went on to also mark out my darts on the lining and the fabric. Yes, I'm going to be attaching a lining to this garment, to this skirt, and the lining is not a full lining. You can either do a full lining if you want to, but I'm going to just do a half lining. And for the hem of the lining, I'm going to go in and fold it I'm just going to fold it, double fold it, and then stitch on it. Then I'm going to go stitch down the darts for the lining and the fabric. I'll repeat the same process for the back. I have marked out my lining on the back piece. Okay, mark out the lining on the back piece. Same thing for the lining. I've marked out the lining as well. And then for the hem of the lining, I went on to fold it, double fold it, and I'm going to go stitch it down. That is how I'm going to finish off the lining. All right, so this is it, and this is what we are going to be doing now. So I'll just take this sewing machine and do. So for the strips we are going to be attaching for the side of the skirt, I have it in the width of 3 inches, and in the length of 60 or thereabouts, depending on how long and how full you want the ruffle towards the sides to be. So for this, I went on to mark it in the length of 60 inches or more. Okay, I went on to mark out 60 inches or more, and then the width that I used was 3 inches for the width. Okay, so to prepare this ruffles, what I did was to take it to my sewing machine, and I'm going to run a gather stitch on it. You can do a pleat if you want to, but I'm going to go do a gather stitch on it. And the part where where it's going to be facing outside, I will be doing a top stitch on it. I'm going to fold it in and run a stitch on the parts that will be facing out. Okay, so that's what I would go do right now. I'm going to run a loose stitch on the strips so that we can go on to gather it. So right now, this is what my strip is looking like. I have done a loose stitch on it, and what I'm doing is gathering it up. Okay, so just go ahead and gather it up and ensure you gather to the tune of what you have towards the side of your skirt. Okay, so I'm going ahead to gather it up, and after gathering, I'm going to be placing it on the right side of my skirt. All right, so just distribute the gathers evenly. That's what it's happening right now. I'm ensuring that my gathers are evenly distributed, so when I take it to the fabric on top of those skirts, they are evenly seated nicely. So this is my skirt after I have stitched down my darts on it. So I'm going to now take the strips that I've gathered and I'm going to pin it down on top of those skirts. So the way you're going to be doing this, you're going to come down by 1/2 inch from the waistline. Remember, we are going to be attaching a waistband to this skirt. So you're going to come down 1/2 inch from the waistband. You're going to pin it down there. On the hem of the skirts, you're going to go up by 2 inch. You're going to pin the strip 2 inch away from the hem of your skirt. Okay, so you're just going to go and attach this to the front panel of the skirt alone. So after attaching, this is what my strips look like. Okay, you can see what it looks like. I went on to also weave the edges. You can see what it looks like right there. I weave the edges so we have little fraying on the fabric. So now when you're done attaching these ruffles to the front panel of your skirt, what you need to do next is to now bring in the back panel. Okay, bring in the back parts of the skirt. You're going to be placing it right sides facing each other. Ensure that the strips you have on the sides are inward, they are facing inside. So when you join the front and the back sides, your ruffles are facing inside the skirt. Ensure that is that way. Otherwise, if they are facing the other way, you're going to end up with the ruffles facing the wrong side of the skirt. So make sure that your ruffles are tucked into the skirt. Then you place the back panel on top of it. You take it to your sewing machine and you go ahead and stitch that down by the amount of stitching allowance you have on your fabric. Okay, you just close the sides. When you are done closing the sides, next thing to do is to attach a zipper. All right, so I want to believe by now we all know how to attach a zipper to a skirt. So after we've joined the sides, we are now going to close the center back, and then we are going to go on to attach our zipper to the center back of the skirt. So that's what I will do right now. I'm going to go do all of this, and after doing all of this, I will be right back. Alright guys, so we are done now. This is what our skirt looks like. I have gone on to also hem the lower part, that's the length of the skirt. So what I will do towards that opening is to use my hemming gum to hold it down. So this is what it looks like on the inside with the lining. I'm going to turn it to the right side so you see what it looks like with the ruffles on the right side. So this is what my skirt looks like at the back after I have hemmed the lower part and I've left an opening for the slits at the back. This is what the ruffles look like on the side. So what is now left is to attach the waistband. So this is my waistband right here. I have it in the width of 4 inches. I have the waistband I'm going to be attaching is a 1.5 inch waistband. I added half an inch to it for stitching allowance, and that will be 2 inches. So on fold I have 2 inches. If you open it up, it's 4 inches. So I also went on to iron and interfacing on the waistband as well. So what I will do now is to close the side of the waistband, fold it into two, close the side of the waistband. Then I'm going to go ahead and just run a top stitch on it, on the waistband on top of the skirt. That's how we are going to be attaching this. So after closing the side, we are going to take this and then we are going to run a top stitch on it to attach the waistband to the skirt. Now once you're done attaching the waistband to the skirt, your skirt is ready, and this is what it looks like. I hope you enjoyed. I did. I love the skirts. I'm going to making something similar with a lot less ruffles. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Stay blessed. Bye.